Knox had been traveling through the Andromeda sector for 3 months when he first noticed something was off. Small things at first: a move tool here, a rearranged supply crate there. He chalked it up to the vibrations from the ship's aging hyperdrive, but deep down, a pilot's instinct told him otherwise. It was on a Tuesday, or what passed for Tuesday in the timeless void of space, when Knox finally discovered the truth. He'd been running diagnostics in the engine room, his hands greasy with coolant, when he heard it, a soft, rhythmic breathing that definitely wasn't his own. Knox froze. His ship, the Stellar Nomad, was a single-pilot vessel. There shouldn't be anyone else aboard. Slowly, he reached for the plasma wrench at his belt and crept toward the cargo bay. The door hissed open, and there, curled up between 2 containers of freeze-dried rations, was someone he'd never expected to see. She was beautiful and terrifying all at once. Iridescent scales covered her arms and legs, shimmering like oil on water under the cargo bay's dim lights. 2 elegant horns curved back from her forehead, and a long, serpentine tail was wrapped protectively around her body. But it was her eyes that caught him, brilliant amber with vertical slits, watching him with an intelligence that made his breath catch. "Don't move," Knox said, his voice steadier than he felt. "Who are you? How did you get on my ship?" The dragon girl sat up slowly, her movements graceful despite the cramped space. When she spoke, her voice was melodic, tinged with an accent he couldn't place. "My name is Alexa, and I've been here for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Knox's mind reeled. "That's impossible. I would have noticed. You almost did." Several times, a small smile played at the corners of her lips. "You're more observant than most humans." It made things challenging. Knox lowered the wrench slightly but didn't put it down. "Why? Why follow me? Why hide on my ship?" Alexa stood, and Knox realized she was taller than him by several inches. Her tail swished behind her, betraying nervousness despite her calm exterior. "Because you're going to Epsilon Prime, and I need to get there." Epsilon Prime is a mining colony in the middle of nowhere. "What could you possibly want there?" "My brother," she said simply. "He was captured by smugglers 2 months ago. I tracked them to the Andromeda sector, followed their trail through a dozen systems. Then I found you, a pilot heading exactly where I needed to go." Knox studied her face, looking for signs of deception. Dragons were rare in this part of the galaxy, remnants of an ancient species that most people thought were extinct or myth. The few he'd heard about commanded prices in the illegal exotic trade that could buy entire planets. "If you're a dragon, why didn't you just fly there yourself? Why stow away on my ship?" Alexa's expression darkened. "Because the smugglers have dragon hunting technology, sensors that can track our biosignatures across star systems. On foot, or in this case, hiding on a human ship. I'm virtually invisible to them. So you used me," Knox said, anger flaring in his chest. "You put me in danger without asking, without even giving me a choice." "Yes." She didn't flinch from his accusation. "I did, and I would do it again. My brother is all I have left. Our clan was wiped out 5 years ago by poachers. He and I survived, stayed hidden, built a life, and now he's been taken. And I will burn down the entire sector if that's what it takes to get him back." The fierce determination in her voice gave Knox pause. He'd lost people to his parents in a reactor accident, his sister to a plague that swept through the outer colonies. He understood that kind of desperation, that willingness to do anything for family. "The smugglers on Epsilon Prime," Knox said slowly, lowering the wrench completely. "They're dangerous, well-armed. You can't just walk in there alone." "I don't plan to walk in. I plan to tear down their doors. That's suicide. Then I'll die trying." Alexa's tail lashed once, sharply. "But I won't abandon him," Knox sighed, running a hand through his hair. This was insane. He should drop her off at the nearest station, report the stowaway, and forget this ever happened. That would be the smart thing, the safe thing. But Knox had never been particularly good at playing it safe. "If we're going to do this," he said, "we do it smart. I know Epsilon Prime. I've made supply runs there before. The mining operation is legitimate, but there's an underground market in the eastern caves. That's probably where they're keeping him." Alexa's eyes widened. "You're helping me?" "Against my better judgment, yes." Knox walked past her to a storage locker and pulled out a holo map of the colony. But we do this my way. No burning, no tearing down doors until we know exactly what we're dealing with. Agreed for a moment. She just stared at him. Then, slowly, she nodded. Agreed. Over the next week, as the stellar nomad hurtled through hyperspace toward Epsilon Prime, an unlikely partnership formed. Alexa proved to be more than just her frightening appearance. She was intelligent, witty, and surprisingly skilled with ship repairs. Nox taught her the layout of Epsilon Prime, and she shared stories of her people, of a culture nearly lost to greed and violence. "Why are you really helping me?" she asked one evening as they sat in the cockpit, watching stars streak past. Nox was quiet for a moment. "Because someone once told me that the universe is cruel enough without us adding to it. If I can help reunite a family, even at risk to myself, then maybe that's worth something." Alexa's hand found his across the console, scaled and strange, but warm. "Thank you, Nox," he squeezed back. "Don't thank me yet. Let's get your brother back first." As Epsilon Prime appeared on their sensors, Nox realized that his life had irreversibly changed the moment he'd found that dragon girl in his cargo bay. Whatever happened next, he knew one thing for certain. He wasn't flying alone anymore, and somehow, that made all the difference.